The never-ending dark night of the soul. What is the purpose of the dark night of the soul? Is it because you're seeing too much? What is there to blame? Is it you, other people, or unrealistic expectations? Or is it the resentment that you didn't see what you needed to see, and now you feel like a fool? You've given too much. You focus too much in areas that were never going to progress and improve. You've given yourself to people, to projects. You built somebody else up, and now they've discarded you and made you invisible. The dark night of the soul is not to do with one or a few losses that you recently experienced. It's been building up for a really long time. When you become more self-aware, you notice patterns of your life, the general theme, the types of pains that you tend to have, what tends to come easier for you. These patterns are very important data. It helps you figure out what you need to do next, how you're going to claim the happiness and power that you've been seeking. And B, it also helps you see the aspects of you that are the greatest strengths. There are no poets, artists, musicians, writers, or entrepreneurs who aren't born through those experiences of the dark night of the soul. And the dark night of the soul doesn't just happen once or twice in your life, and it's not an event that you have to do everything you can to get rid of. It's persistent, and it comes back every time you need to do a huge upgrade. It's a catalyst for transforming your fate, intervening a discourse. It's asking you to correct the misalignment that you've always felt and have known. And it is now the time for you to take charge and take the action that you need to go from living the default condition on autopilot as the good girl to becoming the bad bitch who creates a reality. The first key aspect of the dark night of the soul you want to look at are the key players, obviously you, and who else are involved. Who are the people that were causing you the most pain? Who do you wish you could change? Second, what are the circumstances? What are the aspects that if you could have a magic wand and change it, what would that be for you? Third, you have to realize that some of the areas that you want to control and fix are the non-controllables. No matter what, you cannot make people change. You can also take a horse to the water, but you cannot force the horse to drink the water. No matter how much you believe is the right thing and the right solution for everybody, including the person that you have in mind, you cannot convince the person to let go of their survival programming that is keeping them insisting on a destructive pattern. Once you can see other people's resistance and rigidity as their survival programming desperately trying to protect them, even though it's clearly self-destructive, then now you can come to understand something incredible. You can take that mirror and shine it onto you, and you will see within the mirror, through the behaviors of other people that you've been trying to control, that you as well have been living with your survival programming, and that's been the self-sabotage. And that's what led you to the dark night of the soul. As much as these people are very rigid and resistant, your persistence is a form of rigidity. You desiring to control how the story goes and how you want people to behave is also a form of resistance over your own power. When you have incredible growth, far away from how you were conditioned to be and what was expected of you, the type of life you were meant to live based on family and cultural programming, you are going to experience many layers of losses. And those losses can trigger the dark night of the soul. While you may have felt that there are certain people in your life that you could never live without, this is the time for you to understand deep wisdom, the impermanence of human relationships, the impermanence of state, the fact that we live in a society that is all about gaining power and advantages. And the three man-made power hierarchies that rule our society, capitalism, patriarchy, and racism, make human relationships transactional and anti-connection. This is true even in the closest family relationships, even the purest bond we call between a mother and a child. All relationships are affected by the pursuit of power and privilege. Who you used to align with doesn't mean they're meant to be here forever with you. At some point, people drift apart, and the more we try to make that permanent, the more heartache we experience. Even though logically this makes sense, it is very hard to practice because our emotions get in the way. But once the inevitable happens, the next step is acceptance. Understanding that you're on your own path and you can't take everyone with you. From other people's perspective, you're the one who's out of alignment with them because you changed, whereas they are constant. We were brainwashed to believe in foreverness in human relationships, and that is the opposite of how it actually is. Once an ally is an ally right now during this state, but that is the impermanence of life. No matter how a relationship pans out, you can still be extremely grateful for the times that you had when they held space for you, the times that you really don't feel like you could have made it without those people. And you can still value people for who they have been for you in the past, but that doesn't mean that you need to hold on to them now. It doesn't mean that you pushing this forever agenda onto them and behaving in a way that tries to control the outcome so they become permanent people in your life is going to help anybody. In fact, it becomes very destructive. Sometimes this misalignment can be experienced in your career as well. You could have spent 10, 15, 20 years studying and working in a field that you're just really not aligning with it anymore. Rather than trying to force yourself to stay in it, the faster you pivot and figure out your next steps so you can be in alignment, the faster you're going to resolve your dark night of the soul. People get very depressed when they start to learn about power. My content can trigger a lot of sadness and anger in people. Some people get very depressed when they start to see the true faces of people. If you've ever had a divorce or you had a big family crisis, maybe you had a fight with your family members over one of your ancestors' will, then you understand how people's true faces can trigger this dark night of the soul. Seeing the truth that you didn't want to see, but now you cannot avoid from acknowledging. I can't tell you that there is an absolute way to deal with this grief. However, I can share with you how I deal with my dark night of the soul. And every time I hit this kind of experience, I just know that, because I've come out of it a few times, I just know that the next time when I'm out, I'm going to hit a super high. I know it now that I've experienced it. If you haven't yet experienced it, I hope this will help you. If you're severely distressed, please seek professional help. So what I do during the dark night of the soul is that I create. Creation energy is extremely healing. So what you end up doing through the creation is self-healing. The more you create, you generate this self-healing energy. And that's when I put out my best work. My best work does not come out when I'm at the high, at the peak of my success and coasting. My greatest achievement have always been a product of the dark night of the soul. Whether it was a long chapter or a bit of a shorter chapter that lasted a couple of months, it doesn't matter. Every time I hit a dark night of the soul and I start creating, that creation becomes an incredible upgrade that is very tangible. I care very much about tangible results. So financial, reputation, living condition, time freedom, however you want to measure success, I have a huge upgrade after the dark night of the soul. The key is that you do not stay in the state. You need to take whatever has triggered the state and alchemize it into creation. When you're a growth-oriented person, you will have these cycles multiple times. The faster you upgrade, the more frequently you have these cycles. Problems never go away. You become more resilient to handle them all. These experiences bring the best out of you. And this is how you become unstoppable. Do not fear pain. Lean into it. This is your journey from the good girl to the bad bitch. It is self-mastery alchemy, turning your pains and struggles into gold. Actions that give you the desired outcome is the antidote. Choose an option in the description down below to get started.